Well, 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 well. We are here again with you, and we want to just give you the opportunity to know something. We know Elohim loves understanding is overrated, and we actually agree. But there is a sense of knowingness that you're allowed. A sense of knowingness that is your birthright. A sense of knowingness that is included in all this. And the knowingness is that despite any feelings to the contrary, you are progressing on your path. You are moving forward. You are chipping away at that marble block and revealing the beautiful sculpture underneath, which is the truth of you. You are moving along. Because every time you make a choice for consciousness, you are creating a better environment for your true self to be expressed. Every single time. And it's not one of these things like these games that you play where if you make a mistake you go back to go or you go in jail or any of that craziness. It's every single time you make a choice for consciousness, you're making a step forward into the truth of you. Every single time. And you might fear that you backslide sometimes, but really we want to alleviate that fear because it is not a fear that's actually valid. It's a fear that asks you to stay limited, yes, but it is not a fear that actually represents the truth of you. It is that you are moving forward step by step, and each step that's taken is a choice for consciousness, a choice for high vibration, a choice for understanding the path you're on. Not every individual moment, or not understanding how it all works. That's the understanding that's overrated that Elohim likes to talk about. It's not understanding how it works because the limited mindset that you have available to you cannot conceive of the operation of the universe. You don't have your galactic brain in between your ears. That's why you are changing your interface with the world from fear-based to consciousness-based, because in a consciousness-based operating system, you bring online your galactic brain, which we like to call your soul. You're bringing your soul's insight into the environment that the physicality is expressed in. So every time you make a choice for consciousness, you make a choice for high vibration, you ask what is true now, you say I don't know anything, you're opening up to the bigger part of you, the galactic brain, the soul's insight, whatever you love to call it, whatever resonates with you, bring that into the space you're in. Bring that into the environment you're walking. Bring that into the conversations you're having. That's what you're doing. So that moves you along on the path. And in essence, it's really not a path. It's a moment. It's a moment that's more deeply expressed as the truth of you than a moment that's not. But it's sometimes nice to see it as a path because then it might be easier for you to give yourself some credit, to pat yourself on the back, to appreciate the magnificence that you've accomplished, which is something we also want to remind you of today. And we want to encourage you at the end of your calendar year here to look back and be honest with yourself and give yourself the credit you deserve as you compare you to you over these past months. As you compare you to you over these past weeks. And as you compare you to you over these past moments, give yourself the credit you deserve, because what that does is it is the truth of you. And by giving yourself the truth, you infuse the truth into the next moment you're creating. And we want that for you, because if you won't give it to yourself, who will? And if you're looking for someone else to, you won't get it consistently enough to change your mind. You have to change your mind about the perspective you have on your ability to live the truth of you. And one of the ways you change that perspective is by acknowledging the changes you've made. Acknowledge the changes you've made. So we know it's a temptation at this time of year to have what they call New Year's resolutions. And you don't need our permission to do such a thing. But we would encourage you that in place of that, or in addition to it, you ask yourself, what is the truth of me that has changed over the past 12 months? How am I new? How am I different? How am I more comfortable? How am I less fearful? How am I more conscious? What about my triggers? What about my core emotion? How have I shifted myself? How have I shifted myself over these last 12 months? And give yourself the double pat on the back that you deserve. Now maybe you're new to this pattern of teaching. Maybe you're new to this idea that we're talking about. Okay, well, even if you've only had this moment and the next, you can have yourself a comparison. Be careful you don't compare yourself to others, but rather you compare yourself to yourself. That's the only valid comparison out there, is yourself to yourself. That's the only comparison that really exists, is yourself to yourself, and where you've come and how you've traveled this journey. And we are very, very grateful to have the opportunity to share this journey with you. It's magnificent and we enjoy it. So pull and call on our energies to help you when you compare yourself to yourself, if you feel that is something you need. And of course, we have invited you to refer to us as the Visionaries. And if you like that name, well, there you go. You can call on us to say, I need my vision cleared about myself compared to myself. I need to be clear, to have clarity about it. It's clogged up with cultural ideas and other people's opinions and the opinions of my mother or my father or my family or my kids. And I want clarity about my vision of me. Well, we're especially good in that department. So we invite you to call on our energy to facilitate that clarity coming in for you. We want to support you in becoming clear. Because as you move into January, which we know Eloheim will speak about in a few moments, so we won't go into that at depth, but as you move into January and you bring the body into a new alignment with your spiritual journey, that's going to be a lot of new. Pardon us. And as you know, when you bring in new, you have to look at so much that you want to get as much clarified before you move into January as possible. It's really like we love this example of the marble block, and you're chipping away, right? Well, at some point, all those chips need to be picked up and hauled out. So the rest of December is kind of a picking up and hauling out the chips. Oh yeah, I did drop that. I don't need that anymore. Or as you compare yourself to yourself, you recognize, wow, there's a big hunk of marble down here by my feet that I don't do anymore. I don't get triggered in that way anymore. I don't react that way anymore. I don't get angry in that way anymore, etc., etc. And as you free yourself from those things, it's nice to complete that action by saying, and I don't need it lingering around as if I might need it someday. It's okay to put it out on the rubbish pile for now. I'm done with that for this lifetime. So you may have yourself a little visualization where as you recognize the things that have changed from January and February and March and April and May and June and July and August and September and October into December, you picture yourself putting them in a wheelbarrow, yes? A wheelbarrow or a wagon or something, and pitching them out into the rubbish pile or off the side of a cliff or whatever sounds fun for you. Sometimes dumping in the volcano is nice too. Yeah. Just have yourself a good time, letting yourself clean up all that you have chipped away so that when you move into January, you start with a fresh palette and a fresh perspective. Yes. All right then. We will go and have Eloheim come so that they may answer, maybe ask as well, your questions. And we will, of course, be with you as you call upon us, and we plan to be around on Wednesday too. Goodbye.
Thank you.
You are very welcome.